Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force, and in today's video, I do want to talk about some things that happened yesterday afternoon when we got some mysterious compensation, and it led to us getting a whole handful of rewards in the Strike Pass that hopefully you guys claimed. It was a mistake, but it also presented a really great opportunity for the player base to start, as you guessed it, hoarding for some upcoming events. We're going to be talking about that and more, how you're going to be able to start saving and get ahead for future Gear Tier 20 events. But before we start talking about that, I do want to give a special shout out to the sponsor of today's video. Hey everyone, I want to thank Into the AM for sponsoring today's video. Now, some of you may remember this one because I've done this one before, and I've been wearing their shirts for quite a while now, for probably about almost a year. I absolutely love them. They've really helped improve my confidence as well because of how form-fitting and vibrant they are, with the amazing designs to match anyone's interests or taste. And I'm going to show you some of the other ones that I also have that I've been wearing. Probably you might have even seen some of these in my videos. This one here I call Thor with Mjolnir with a shield, right? I mean, I guess that's what it's supposed to be. This one I've had for a while. Absolutely love this one. And I also have this one here, which I call Robot Samurai. So some really awesome, cool designs, honestly. I have a couple of more as well. I just can't seem to find them just now. You might have also seen me wear this shirt here. This is one of the videos that I did with them last time. This is my, I guess you could call it the arcade machine astronaut one, which is a lot like the astronaut race car one that I'm wearing just now as well. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I have so many of their shirts. It's honestly amazing. I love the stuff that they do, and I wanted to share some of this with you guys. And now is the time where I tell you that there's some amazing site-wide deals going on right now for some of these great shirts if you're looking to expand your wardrobe a bit. If you use my promo link, you'll also get an additional 10% off at checkout as well, using intotheam.com/Boilon. I will leave that link in the description down below and on the pinned comments so that you guys can check it out and get a start here with some new spring t-shirts. Honestly, some really amazing stuff here to choose from. And I want to thank Into the AM once again for sponsoring today's video. So what are you waiting for? Click that link in the description down below to grab yourself some new shirts. Okay, so what happened in Marvel Strike Force yesterday? Well, they sent out this mail inbox that said, Cosmic Crucible issue resolved. 2,250 strike tokens. Absolutely wild. So this resulted in 30 strike pass levels. Now, why is that significant? Well, first of all, I'm pretty much done. I haven't had my daily reset yet. Actually, I'm just recording this 45 minutes before midnight for me. But when you click on this, right, like I'm going to be done this, in 5 days, right? We get 14 days for a strike pass, and I have really just a couple of more levels. This is going to be done in like a day and a half. Normally you get about 4.5 levels if you do all of the objectives. So as far as this, I'm going to get this done in a day and a half. And that gives me 8 days to spare, which is absolutely insane. And this gives us a massive hoarding opportunity for upcoming events. And this is namely going to, well, okay, so if you're doing campaign energy right now for Quack Fu, if you're still doing that anyways, continue doing that. Also, for my example, I hoarded 4,000 energy, which allowed me, because they changed it. Did I mention this in a video? They did actually change the milestones a little bit from what I had posted in my Sunday video, but it was actually in the player's favor. So I didn't have to really do much correction there because all the math was the same. It's just, it was a little bit of an easier time. And because they brought that back, it was a lot easier, or it is easier, to hit milestone 18. So I am going to be able to clear this. I need to do another 14,000 points divided by 4, is like 3,500 energy, right, in the next 3 days and a half. So that's more than fine, because for 200 cores daily you get around 1,100 energy. So this is fine. I can do this with like 1 or 2 extra 100 cores, and then after I clear this, I'm going to go into hoarding mode again for campaign energy. But if you're not going for milestone 18, if you don't think that you have a path forward for that, you should start hoarding your campaign energy now for upcoming events, because you're going to get the strike pass cleared without having to do any of those objectives. The campaign energy objectives, or the ISO 8 energy objective. And that's actually one of the most important ones that I wanted to talk about here today, because ISO 8 energy, I don't normally recommend hoarding this because it's worth more on the daily objectives. The campaign energy is worth 30 points a day, or 30 strike pass XP points or whatever a day. The ISO 8 one is worth 50. You can actually hoard the campaign energy in perpetuity throughout the entire strike pass and still finish the pass. But as far as the ISO 8 energy goes, you cannot do that, because I think that you can only actually hoard for 8 days, 7 or 8 days out of 14 days before it kind of like potentially ruins your ability to clear the strike pass. But because we've done this so early, now you can hoard both energies, if you want to, until the next strike pass, and beyond a little bit of that as well, right? Because like I said, you only need to do the ISO 8 energy for about like half of the strike pass period. So this gives a great opportunity now, which I've already started to core and starting to hoard over my limit here for next events. Now, I've already done a data mine on that, right? We talked about that in a previous video here, where you can see here that the upcoming event, Mutants versus Zombies, which is going to be in the blog later on today, is in fact not an energy event. It's war battles, and then I don't know, this crap with Daredevil, Modern, and Silver Sable. Apparently there is a power core function, and we're going to see whether or not that remains true in the blog later on today. And if that's the case, that opens up a potential opportunity for us to be using our power cores if we want on Daredevil or Silver Sable. Probably Silver Sable, because she's the later character, so we're probably going to get Daredevil sooner in a free-to-play manner. And then there's going to be the Sword Tower or Sword Lab, which we already talked about later, or earlier. And so there is no energy function in this event, and this is the leaderboard event. That being said, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be hoarding anyways, because as you guys saw from Quack Fu, I was able to hoard 4,000 energy, and that gave me a bonus of 600, or will give me once I clear it, 625,000 X coins, which is a lot when you talk about gear tier 20 minis, right? 625 divided by 12.5, that's 50 extra G20 minis that I'm going to get for clearing this milestone. So even if they have something like this and it's not a leaderboard event, there's a good chance that, say, the event after this one coming is either going to be a campaign energy or an ISO 8 energy event. And even if it's not ISO 8, this still allows you the opportunity to continue to build up your hoard so that you can actually do really, really well on whether it's a leaderboard event or a non-leaderboard event, and get more gear 20 pieces, because this is going to really matter for those free to play. Hell, it's going to matter for all players, but mostly for, I would say, free to play, cheap to play, low spenders, that kind of bracket, who really want to push and get a little bit further ahead in their value. Because you guys know, here on the Boilon channel, we talk about all things that you can do to properly prepare for events and what's going to push you and propel you a little bit further. So that's why I like to share this stuff with you guys. So I hope that you guys take this opportunity to do that. Otherwise, you're wasting energy. There's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, to not hoard. I know that I know that for campaign energy, some people are a bit weird about not weird about this, but are in a little bit of a hole when it comes to training modules, and I know they like spending their campaign energy on train, like they're that desperate and hard up for it that they do, will go spend on the training module, the training or fragment nodes, and that's fine. That's fair. But by and large, I think it's better to still save your energy for events. And I think that, that's only in the short term are you going to not pick up a little bit of extra training modules. Once you start spending that energy, you're going to get the training modules back anyway. So it's not really a big deal. It's just a temporary loss that you're going to get back later on anyways. So it's not really that big of a deal. Now, the second thing that I do want to talk about here today is going to be some of the changes that happened yesterday. I was a little bit surprised, I'll be honest. I was surprised a little bit that the Starjammers did receive a little bit of an update. Not much. How many times has this been? I want to say 3. Is this the 3rd update for the Starjammers? There was a kit update. Is this the 2nd or the 3rd? I can't remember. But anyways, there hasn't been a multiple time update since that I can remember, since Illuminati. I think Illuminati received multiple. I think at least 2. And that's just off the top of my head. And before that, it would have been Spider Society got like 2 or 3 as well. So there's been some complaints among the I'm going to say the PvP crowd probably, who were saying that Starjammers were still a bit meh, even after their previous update. from what I understand, like the biggest issue actually is not necessarily the stats. It's that Lalandra goes last or almost last. And so by the time she actually takes her turn in Crucible, anyways, to clear all the buffs and whatnot, it would be nicer if it was a little bit earlier in the turn order, I think, is what I get from a lot of people and from even using her myself. Right. And so my understanding, though, is the reason why they don't want to do this and why they don't want to put Lalandra further ahead, increase her speed or whatever to get her to go before the others is because they don't want to make this a defensive mess. AKA, it becomes so powerful that people just start using this on defense instead of an offensive Swiss Army knife. So where I'm going to see benefits for this, I suppose, for me, is that because we're now we are being forced to use Lalandra in the Xavier saga, so being able to get some additional stats out of her here. Also, I do actually probably plan to use Groot in the Xavier saga. I think that's still on the docket for me personally, unless it's for some monumental change with character releases. But if I am forced to use Lalandra, Groot will be able to taunt because it's in Lalandra's kit, and then Groot can revive. And so that whole thing with a 3-star and people dying, at least Groot has an RNG ability to come back from the dead, and so hopefully that helps. And he's a really good support, anyways. I think I was planning on either to do Havoc or Howard, probably not both, because I still was going to use Kahori and Odin for Cosmic Hero. So I haven't really decided on that front. Obviously, there's lots of time left. I won't say no to increased stats, but I don't know if this is necessarily enough or what people really wanted to have for this team. So I thought that this was a little bit peculiar myself. Now, some other changes as well, or not the changes, I did notice that we will be seeing Professor X like imminently in the in-game, right? His entry here on the website is there. Professor Xavier, his abilities are not filed out for some reason. Also, not that it matters because I don't know how many people are actually going to be unlocking him that early on. Anyways, he is going to be of the Luminium unique, is my understanding, because I saw that in the game files in the data mines. So that's the same as, I don't know who else has been using that unique lately, but I think like Black Cat was a long time ago, anyways. But anyways, you can read the description of it here if you want. And there was this commercial that was kind of floating around with Professor Xavier. I saw that anyways on Mobile Gamers channel as well. I don't know who the first to report on that was. Apparently, it got deleted or it got removed from Scopely's Instagram. I believe they released some sort of trailer for Xavier a little bit earlier than was supposed to, but there we go as well. Some things happening in the space here. And what else do we have to talk about? I don't think there's a whole lot. I guess I'm just kind of preparing, right? We're going to get some blog news later on today. And I think, honestly, the best thing to do right now is just to hold the line, right? There's a lot of shit going on or going to be happening pretty soon. And I think that people need to be adequately prepared for what's going to be happening in Marvel Strike Force. You saw my video yesterday when it came to overpower. I am still very concerned about this dropping on Monday. All I'm doing right now is I'm just getting my vigilantes to 105. As far as preparing for overpower, I'm not doing that a lot outside of arena, right? And seeing how the impact is going to be there. And I think sometime or come next week, anyways, we're going to be able to see the full totality of the impact of how this is going to play out. For me, I care most about arena. Like I know without a doubt it's going to suck in Cosmic. I can't imagine anybody having a positive reception to overpower. I'm sorry, but like I haven't met anyone that said, you know what, Boilon, overpower is going to be great. Like I just have not seen anyone say that to me. So we'll see what the reaction is next week. I don't think that my reaction in my video yesterday was a knee-jerk reaction. I honestly believe for as long as I played this game that it just is not something that I would expect a company that's doing well to want to put out. It's just it's I think I used the word flabbergasted. Someone caught me like, why did you use that word? I'm gonna do it again. I was flabbergasted that they're actually putting this kind of stuff out. So it's just mind-blowing to me personally. Would love to know more about your thoughts in the comments down below. So that's going to be it for today's video. Maybe there will be something else later on. Depends on what kind of stuff hits the fan or not. And of course, there's going to be some videos over the weekend, including my event video for Sunday. But before we go, I do want to give a special shout out and thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Into the AM, for all the wonderful shirts. And if you do want to pick up some new stuff for your wardrobe, then make sure that you hit the link in the description down below to get yourself a 10% discount at checkout. There's some great stuff on sales going on. So that's it for now, everyone, and I'll see you guys on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.